Hello, ladies and gents, boys and girls, people of all ages, sexualities, and identities, and welcome back to another Doctor Who review. And today's Doctor Who review is none other than the Eight Truths. So, what is the Eight Truths about? Well, the Doctor and Lucie return to Earth, and Lucie starts trying to get used to living a normal life. But of course, when she watches the TV and realizes that something has gone wrong with a space probe, the Doctor is none other than investigating what exactly has happened. Under the authority of UNIT, he has managed to infiltrate NASA and find out that something is up with the space probe, and they seem to be getting some weird relay back. Meanwhile, back in London, it turns out that Lucie finds herself walking around the street and then comes across her old colleague Karen. Now, Karen is making this statement to Lucie that apparently she has left the headhunter and come back to her life on Earth. Little does Lucie know that Karen is part of a organization known as the Eight Full Truths. Now, the Eight Full Truths are kind of this cult that believe in crystals and believe that essentially they will be saved when the coming does come. However, what Lucie Miller doesn't realize is that the chosen one from Metebelis 3 is behind the whole thing in general. The Eight Legs are coming, and they are coming for Earth. The Doctor doesn't fully know too much about the cult. All he knows is that they seem to be spewing propaganda, and it all has something to do with this satellite business. Soon, the Doctor, in the first half of this story, discovers that there is a giant rebel sun coming into the sky. This rebel sun has come from who knows where and is going to obliterate half of the human race. Anyone without a crystal will not be spared. By the second half of this story, when the Great One possesses Lucie Miller, it turns out that everyone who has been spared are going to be used as kind of husks for the eight legs, and anyone who doesn't is going to be devoured. The Headhunter seems to have made an alliance with the Great One, and they are trying to weasel out any form of rebellion within the kind of organization. Meanwhile, the Doctor is elsewhere with a reporter who he is essentially trying to coincide with in order to destroy this rebel sun and stop whatever's happening from happening. Then the Doctor suddenly realizes that the Great One must be involved because the crystal that everyone's been going on about is from Metebelis 3. So, the Eight Truths. What did I think of this audio in general? It's a really good start to this whole bringing the Great One back. However, there is only one problem I have with this story so far. I love the Headhunter returning. I love Karen returning. I love this kind of cloak and daggers business and Lucie getting possessed. Love all of that. Love the Mars probe going missing. However, the Rebel Sun itself is the only thing I really, really don't like in this story. And my biggest reason for it is it just kind of feels like a Star Wars plot. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't believe that Doctor Who shouldn't go into the aspect of looking at things like Star Wars and Star Trek and a lot of other sci-fi genres. However, I do feel like when we start to get to death weapons that can destroy half of the universe, it becomes repeatable. And that's my biggest worry with something like the Eight Truths, is when they have something like a Rebel Sun where it's like looming over the Earth. Is it really something? No, not really. I feel like the Great One coming and taking over the planet and manipulating everyone, perfect. That's all this story had to do. But I feel like it's adding too many layers by having a rebel sun that's pretty much just a giant Death Star in the sky. And sadly, for that reason, I have to mark this down just a couple points to a 7 out of 10. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next Doctor Who review. Until then, goodbye, stay beautiful, and have an incredible day.